No problem. I've still got Plan C. Ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to the Plan C podcast. This is our Super Bowl preview. So thank you for checking it out. This was originally supposed to come out on Friday, but due to unforeseen circumstances, it will come out on Sunday morning. So happy Super Bowl! Hope everyone has fun Super Bowl plans, whether to watch with friends, family, or just by yourself, because people can't stand you when you yell at the TV. That is not me, by the way. Make sure you're liking, sharing, subscribing. We've got just a bunch of football stuff up. There's going to be some basketball stuff coming down the tube as well. And yeah, make sure you're checking out our YouTube. I recently made a website, so check that out. Just literally type my name into Google and you should be able to find it pretty easily. That sounds pretty terrible, but not terrible, but I don't know. I would just like the people who listen, like, what's your feedback? You know, there are some people that do SEO stuff and, you know, digital design and shit. So if you do that kind of stuff, you know, I would love your opinion. Anyway, I'm not gonna hang around here too long because I want to get you onto the show. Yeah, this was a good preview. I'm happy we did it, and let's get into it. Welcome back. This is the Plan C podcast. As I said in my intro, doing Super Bowl coverage. But before we went into Super Bowl, I think AJ and I wanted to touch a little bit on the current coaching cycle. AJ, I know you kind of wanted to drive the car here. So what have you been thinking, man?
Yeah, first and foremost, I think it'd be ignorant for us to not reminisce on our commentary of last year's hires. We did say Dan Quinn was by far the worst hire.
Yes.
We're completely wrong. So whatever we say from here on out has no merit, has no meaning. It's meaningless. Yeah, I mean, we had some very interesting coaching hires throughout. We have about 6 openings. Am I right? 6 openings, 1 TBD. That is your New Orleans Saints, but I think the quietness from New Orleans is very loud. I think it's very obvious that they are going to bring in Kellen Moore, offensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles. They are waiting to see what happens. This will be the 3rd time in the last 8 years where the Eagles offensive coordinator gets a head coaching job off of a Super Bowl appearance. If that's what happens. Kellen Moore was thought by a lot of people to be the front runner for Dallas. Thoughts on Kellen Moore? I know it's a little probably jumping the gun because he's not officially hired, but I'm assuming that's the play, right?
Well, I think the reason nobody's gotten this job yet is because nobody really wants it. Because people can see that the Saints are a team that are headed in the wrong direction. We're not even a year away from being a year away, you know? This roster requires intense overhaul. And, you know, even if we somehow figure out quarterback, we still need to protect that quarterback and still need to give him good options and still need to have a good defensive line and all that. And I don't know, just feels like, you know, Demario Davis could retire, Cam Jordan could retire, Tyrann Mathieu could retire, and then suddenly we're down bad.
You've long been telling me whoever gets hired is not going to be there very long.
No, I don't believe that. That they will. Sorry, that could have been, you know, weird phrasing. No, again, this is, the chickens have come home to roost. You know, we have, since Breeze has retired, we have refused to even think about hitting the reset button. And, last year was the first time that not only were we not competitive towards the end of the season and for most of the season, um, I mean, after week 2, we won 3 total games after week 2. That's not good. And again, a lot of veterans, a lot of aging guys, a lot of guys who are on deals that probably aren't worth it. Yeah, so, I think that's why we saw Aaron Glenn not come here. I think that's why we saw Joe Brady take his name out. Just not a lot of opportunity for growth, I don't think. Yeah. How do you look at it?
Um,
I didn't even answer your question though.
I think this is probably, like I said, the fact that this is the last opening and it has been for a while is pretty telling. I thought they were holding out for Joe Brady until the Bills were knocked out. That obviously didn't happen. Um, I think I agree with you. It's kind of a lose lose situation as a head coach. Well, I mean, they could go in and tear it up. Who knows? It's not a lose lose completely, but it's not a spot where you're going in and you're going to be set up for success. It's definitely a uphill battle, right? As Blade once said,
Yeah.
motherfuckers gonna be trying to ice skate uphill the
Yeah.
entire season. So it'll be interesting. Definitely probably one of my more, I wouldn't even say least favorite, but more underwhelming hires. Just not creative. Kellen Moore's still very young. Like it was just 2 years ago when he was still with Dallas that he was viewed as like one of the young and up and coming coordinators, head coach candidates. He was interviewing quite a bit for jobs. Never really landed anything. So who knows? Who knows? It's low risk, low reward for New Orleans. I'll say that.
Yeah, I guess low risk is right. And you know, there was a lot of not hype, but there seemingly was momentum for Kellen Moore to slide right in as Cowboys coach. And for some reason that didn't happen. Whether it's Jerry, I don't know. I do think that Mickey Loomis has a lot of control in the building for the New Orleans Saints. That's the New Orleans Saints GM. Um, and ultimately, I believe Gail Benson has the owner has the final say in the coach hire. Or maybe she doesn't. I don't know. I know she fired Dennis Allen, but who she has running the coaching search, who knows? But yeah, I don't know. Mickey Loomis just seems so attached, and just every year, just seemingly is like, we're one piece away. We're a couple offensive linemen and a wide receiver away. So let's give the Eagles our pick, which turns into Jalen Carter, who is now maybe the best interior defensive lineman in the NFL. You know, it's been a lot of short sightedness that has led to long term degradation, I'll say. Zach Bond gone. He is one of the best
The player of the
defensive,
year candidates.
yeah, defensive player of the year. Fucking Trey Hendrickson gone. First team All Pro this year. You
Yeah.
know, these are players that if you don't sign Carr, you probably could have re-signed. But a lot of ifs and buts. I think that the Saints are struggling so much because they to find a coach is because again, I think people see it. I think people see it, and I think it fucking smells bad. And we're gonna have not an easy schedule, but a schedule that's certainly going to be in the top half of the league in terms of how easy it is. So I don't know, man. I think there's going to be Saints fans that talk themselves into this next season, but in my belief, no matter who's coaching, like you could be Bill Belichick back there. You're not gonna get a winning record out of Carr. Not no, you're just not. And if Spencer Rattler turns into something, then we can have that conversation when we get there. But I didn't really see it. And I like Rattler. Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. It's going to be a long season. I think we talked about it. It's going to be one of those seasons where, as a fan, you probably just hope for some entertaining games and a lot of losses. Being mediocre, winning 5 to 7 to 8 even games is not productive long term.
No. And oh God. And even when we were winning like 9 to 7 games in a year, you still you, you're still like in the thick of it at the end. This was the first time in my Saints memory where the season was over in like November, yeah.
And like you mentioned, we have a couple other to hit on. The Saints are losing all of their key coordinators too by waiting so long.
Oh, all of them.
So-
There needs like, I don't know how he's like, whoever comes in. Also, you have to build your entire coaching staff, and most of the good assistants have been hired away already.
It's going to be a lot of first-time coordinators,
Yep.
right? I'd have to take a look at the current Eagles coaching staff. Very impressive by the Eagles, though, that they've lost consistently. Nick Sirianni has lost his coordinators, and they're still.
I mean, it's all Howie Roseman.
Yeah, I
It's
don't mean to give Nick Sirianni much credit, to be honest, but very interesting. You touched on Brian Schottenheimer. In your opinion, was that the worst hire of this cycle?
I think how they went about it was really awful. They kept McCarthy on, blocked him
Denied, yes.
from having interviews, which just felt icky. I think I read somewhere that McCarthy wanted like a 5-year extension or something like that. In this scenario with Jerry, I think he has lost the fucking he has lost the vision. It's so weird because I feel like we've kind of been in this cycle with Jerry for almost as long as I can remember being a Cowboys hater. Just where, mediocre, they have a good draft where they, have a bunch of like really strong selections. Look at Micah Parsons, or look at
CeeDee Lamb.
the draft with CeeDee Lamb, or you want to look at Tyron Smith, going back, or even the draft with Dak, where they drafted Dak and Zeke in the same draft and just kind of came out and fucked everyone up. So it feels like they have these good drafts, and then they just have nothing drafts, and then they make poor coaching hires, and then stick with the coaches for too long, and then I honestly I think no matter what the situation was, they were gonna get fucking killed unless they hired Mike Vrabel, unless they hired Ben Johnson, unless they hired Belichick. And even if they hired Belichick, I still think they would have gotten killed.
I mean, Dion was a serious candidate for this team.
Oh,
Very good stuff. I don't think this is as bad of a hire as people are making it out to be.
I'm there with you.
But I will say the comments that Jerry has been making, if that was me, I'd be pretty pissed. He keeps referring to Brian Schottenheimer as like a lifelong assistant coach. Like he's made multiple comments that I just find kind of weird, right? You're the head coach of quote unquote America's team, but Jerry keeps referring to him referring to the past of him being a lifetime assistant coach. This is very weird. I don't. It doesn't really instill much confidence. Who knows? Very questionable though. Dallas fans not happy. I think they, like you said, they're probably hoping for someone a little more high profile, like Mike Vrabel, first coach to be hired. Went to New England, his alma mater.
That was a
Not really,
fantastic
'cause
hire by New England.
it was a no-brainer. One of my favorite things about this head coaching cycle was the New England Patriots announcing that they interviewed, was it Byron Leftwich and Pep Hamilton
Oh my God, yes.
in the same tweets, just to
It
get
was like
past
a literally like
the
20 hours before they announced that they hired Vrabel.
yes, just to get through the pesky Rooney Rule, right? Get them both out of the way. It was pretty bad. Which I agree. I still find it weird though. Like they knew they were gonna hire Vrabel. That's who they wanted. No brainer. Former player, former successful head coach, right? Shouldn't have left Tennessee. Um,
John
but
Robinson, your days are numbered.
yeah, it is a weird situation. But yeah, a very good head coaching hire. My opinion, probably my favorite. It does suck how the whole season went down for Gerard Mayo last year, right? One and done coach. Did not set him up for success, and they admitted that they did not. But this should give him much more of a boost, especially with Pro Bowler Drake May coming into year two. So yeah, I'm excited to see New England next year.
It's gonna be interesting. What other? So we touched on
Yeah,
Vrabel,
we
touched on
did that.
Shot.
Aaron Glenn quickly. I think he'll be good for New York. It all just depends on what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers. Um, Another defensive-minded coach that went to New York, though. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out for them. But former player drafted by them should be interesting. Should be an upgrade for sure. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much of an upgrade it's going to be over Salah because I think Salah did cover up a
yeah,
lot of mistakes, and I actually think that defense was incredibly well coached. Um, so honestly, I think maybe he will be a better leader of men. Maybe I don't know particularly if that'll be the case, but we'll see.
yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
I Before we move on to the next head coach, what do you think is going to be the effect in Detroit?
Um,
Like, is there going to be massive fall off? You think?
I don't think so. I
Mm.
think, I mean, both Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn have been, head coaching candidates for the last couple of years because they've just been so good. I mean, shit though, losing both your offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator is not many teams can overdo it. But when you have such a good head coach like Dan Campbell, I think they're probably one of the teams that have a good shot of filling those spots.
I mean, I think
I
this
know
is where
Ben
we
Johnson,
find out how good of a head coach
yeah,
he is.
Ben Johnson did steal quite a bit of coaches from that team too. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Speaking of Ben Johnson to the Bears, I don't like that hire as much as most. I think it's good. It was good. I was a little underwhelmed with his press conference. I don't know why. I think I soured on him. A lot of people thought that he's the best head coaching candidate for the last couple of years. He's been the top one and has continued to opted to stay with Detroit. Um, Thoughts on Ben Johnson to the Bears?
um, Honestly, I think they needed this. This is exactly what they needed for Caleb. You needed an offensive minded head coach who brings in a good scheme that is quarterback friendly, not a system where there's a ton of reads and, you got to do this, this, and that, and this, and that. Like, no. Um, I think Ben Johnson is what was the only head coach within this cycle that could legitimately give you both of those things. Um, just in terms of being a strong offensive play caller and again a quarterback friendly offensive system. Because last year, whatever the fuck the Bears were running, just it just did not match up with Caleb's skill set at all. Quite literally to his detriment. And Caleb got fucking killed last year. There were flashes, but just the amount of stupid shit that the Bears were doing on offense was really mind blowing. What I don't like is that the Bears are going to extend Ryan Poles. Or at least it's been reported that they're going to extend him to the length of Ben Johnson's deal so that, the two are out of contract at the same time in the future, barring an extension. I genuinely believe that Poles fell ass fucking backwards into that Carolina trade. I fully believe that Carolina approached him, and I mean I will have to go back and check my research because I don't remember how much this was reported. But my God, did he fall ass backwards into that? And it feels like since then he's just fucked up every step of the way.
It seems that way, doesn't it? I agree with you. I think he lucked out, and I think with how bad Bryce Young looked year one, made it look a little bit more lopsided.
Oh, absolutely.
Um, I don't hate it. I think it kind of gives him a little bit of confidence. I think this is a make or break year for him, in my opinion.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
we'll see. We'll see how Chicago performs. A few more. Pete Carroll. This was probably my least favorite hire this season. It's just very odd why Pete Carroll would want to take the job with the Raiders. Pete Carroll was advising and he was teaching in college. Where was he at? USC last year. Took a year off. Guy is 73 years old. He'll be 74 by the time the season starts. Coming into a situation that's a rebuild, right? I think people kind of think it's going to take some time with the Raiders. No quarterback. They're in a position to grab one. Maybe bring in Russell Wilson. Reunion there. They brought in Chip Kelly to be their offensive
I
coordinator.
fucking saw that.
I had to do a double take. I didn't believe it, but hey, is what it is, right? So this one I'm just
Yeah.
kind of like, why? Why not bring somebody new and young and fresh? I really thought they were going to grab Ben Johnson.
It did seem like they were headed in that direction, and then, then you go and try and draft one of the young quarterbacks that are at the top of this draft. No, I don't I don't even know it's been a little over a week now since Carroll was hired, maybe a little bit longer. Yeah, because the AFC Championship happened, and that happened like a week or two before that. I don't even know how I feel about this hire.
Like I said, it's a rebuilding situation more or less in a division that he's never going to win. He's not going to win it. He's 74 years old. He's not going to win it by the time before he's 76, 77.
Yeah. Yeah, I do agree that you now have to go against Sean Payton, Jim Harbaugh, and Andy Reid, which is just bananas to do twice a year. And
He took the job just to go face to face with
would-
with John Harbaugh again. I'm convinced. They've been mortal
wait, is it
enemies.
I thought John is Baltimore.
Jim Harbaugh, my mistake. You're correct. Um, yeah, I mean the guys they've been battling it out since what 2009,
Yeah,
2010,
because when Carroll was at USC and he was at Stanford.
and then their time with San Fran and Seattle.
Yep.
Very interesting.
I I do I do think that there is potential, not for, world beaters, but I do think there is potential for Pete to come in and kind of reset the culture. You have him, you have Brady, could be something very interesting / exciting that they can put together. I don't know if it'll actually happen, but could be very interesting.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. Very, very interesting. Last but not least, certainly not least, Mr. Duval. That was bad. That was bad.
Duval.
Duval. If you can see my face, I did that perfect. Liam Cohen, formerly the offensive coordinator of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the most polarizing head coaching hire this cycle. I initially said that it was probably my least favorite. The more I've seen him interact with players in Jacksonville, I don't think it's that bad. But man, oh man, whether he was in the wrong or not, just by the coverage that he got alone, this dude really seems like he kind of fucked over Tampa Bay. Right? So break it down. He interviews for the job, pulls his name out of consideration. A couple days later, or maybe the very next day, Jaguars fired Trent Baalke, GM, who's kind of been known to be a piece of shit,
And a
right?
coach killer.
And a coach killer, drove Jim Harbaugh back out of San Francisco.
Shout out Jim Tom Sula.
Oh
Sorry.
boy, my favorite one and done coach. Um,
Jim Tom Sula was truly a special one because wasn't he like the defensive line coach?
defensive line coach, yeah.
Yeah. That one is just special.
And then they went back to back because then they went one and done with Chip Kelly too.
Oh,
Let's
I
get the
always
biggest
fucking
now.
forget Chip Kelly was the fucking Niners coach.
Yeah,
That's
they
too
got a good
funny,
coach.
dude.
They lucked into Kyle Shanahan. So anyway, pulled himself out of the job. Told Tampa he wasn't taking it. They made him the highest paid. Reportedly made him an offer to make him the highest paid coordinator. And then next day, there's reports that he's gonna maybe still interested in the job. And then there's just so many reports that he did not tell the Buccaneers. He told the Buccaneers he was taking a personal day because his kid was sick. Meanwhile, he was at the Jags facility interviewing for the job. Goes to Tampa Bay. Apparently, he told Baker he was coming back. Nobody could get a hold of him. Bada bing, bada boom. He's signs as the Jaguars head coach. And I'm
Brutal
sure there's
stuff.
more to it, but man, oh man, does that seem very shitty. Just to kind of, not really be able to take any accountability or be a man, honestly. I don't know how else to put it. Like, man of your word, first and foremost, but I'm a huge, I can't stand people who can't just give an answer. Like, a no is okay. I don't mind you telling me no, but just tell me no. Don't just ignore it, you know? So when I heard this story, oh, it pissed me off. A lot of people in Tampa Bay are pissed. They're blocking him from interviewing some of their coaches on the staff. Very interesting scenario all around.
Yeah, this is one of those that you're kind of like, well, what the fuck happened?
Yeah, we'll never know. We'll never know. But
I can't speak to Liam Cohen's ability as a coach, but I can speak to, unless this is just some fucking scheme by the Buccaneers to like neg this guy. I don't know. This just felt really shady. And when I read that Baker was like, yeah, I texted him and he like wouldn't text back. I was like, okay, like that's kind of fucked up, man. Like
that's shitty.
you can't tell your fucking quarterback that you're doing this. Like what?
It's weird for sure.
I will
Very, very
say
odd.
though that Jaguars fans are already very, very thankful for him because Trent Baalke was fired. And I think Shad Khan kind of realized that
Everybody's
when
pulling out of nobody wanted.
nobody wanted the fucking job. Nobody
Yeah.
wanted to fucking work with Trent Baalke. Shocker. I think I'm gonna reserve my total judgment um for the season, but I don't know. As a man, like not amazing.
Another point I saw too, because I said that he was going to be garbage, was that he's bounced around quite a bit.
Oh yeah, that's true.
He's had a lot of like 1 year stints. He was with the Rams, then he was with who was it? Kentucky. Was it Kentucky? Gosh.
He was like quarterbacks coach for the Rams at some point.
Yeah, he was with the Rams. Went to college. Went back to the Rams. He was only in Tampa Bay 1 year. This is the second year in a row that Tampa's had a one and done offensive coordinator. Let's see. He was with the Rams. Then he went to it was Kentucky. Then the Rams. Then back to Kentucky. Then with the Bucks. All within a 1 year stint with everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely weird. It's definitely weird. And I I don't quite understand how it happens that like these guys who jump around all the time or are with a team for a while but their offense sinks. Like how is Mike Kafka getting head coach interviews? I really don't
Really,
understand how that's
he was a
happening.
really good quarterback in the league, Colin.
Like again,
Who
who
is
has
he even
been
with
like
now?
paying attention? He's been the offensive coordinator with the Giants for years.
Yeah, yeah. Assistant head coach. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. A lot of these mediocre quarterbacks that have taken on. I kind of like it.
I don't but it's really confounding because it's like how have these guys either not had a lot of experience or been seemingly inept at their position? How are they getting these interviews? How are they getting these jobs? You
It's in,
know?
it's interesting.
And
Um,
they're so young too.
yeah, yeah. Mike Kafka's not even 40. I don't think 37
Neither
is
is Liam Cohen
that dude's. He's 39. That's a rough 39.
for Liam Cohen.
Yeah. Sorry, that's not. It's not
He's
necessary.
I think he's doofy looking.
The Duval was horrible. But
Duval.
it. Anyways, my biggest thing was, like I said, this dude's bounced around from team to team to team to team to team. That he's not going to find
It's a
success.
team.
Jacksonville's very bad in general. They have been. They're one of those teams that just can never find themselves away from like a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
I actually don't. I don't know where they're picking this year, but yeah, it's very interesting. On to coaches who don't necessarily suck. Andy Reid, Nick Sirianni, part 2. Let's
Yeah.
get into it, Colin. Let's get into it. Let's get this over with. We have very different views on this game.
Well, I think we have different
Oh,
views on who we're supporting.
real quick, I just read a document to back step to our last topic. An article that says top candidate removes himself from the Jaguars GM search. Very interesting.
Fucking Jags.
Very interesting. Anyway,
Um yeah, so I think we have different we are supporting different things here. We got the Eagles and we got the Chiefs. I'm wavering slightly. But I still stand firm. I will put my feet down, slightly wavering. That I do want the Chiefs to win. I want to see the three-peat. Eagles fans drive me up a fucking wall.
as they
And
should.
I think are genuinely like I will say you are very supportive of your team, but you are like
Trash.
it it's
Trash.
from what I see, it is like why is it always why is it always Eagles fans being dickheads? You know?
Yeah, picking on opposing players, opposing teams, fans, and yeah,
Like
it's
for the
made a whole
crime of
movie
showing
about
up
it.
to their game.
Silver Linings Playbook, fantastic. But
Great
yeah, I
film.
agree with you. I agree with you. The Philly fans have been insufferable. Uh, their head coach is insufferable. By far the biggest. What's the word? Loser, I guess I could say. My opinion, biggest loser in the NFL, head coaching wise. Right, the dude sucks. He sucks. He's annoying. He's cocky. He sucks. I'm with you there. But outside of the fan, and Chiefs fans are kind of getting to that point too. Outside of the fans and outside of Nick Sirianni, there's some stuff to cheer for with Philly. I don't feel like I need to cheer for anything for anybody from the Chiefs. You have the
I'm
2022 draft class. They will know nothing but Super Bowl wins. Everybody from that draft class has never had played a season without winning a damn Super Bowl. And then you throw in the whole ref stuff and the NFL favoring, and it's whether you think that they get more calls or not, or you get more, the Chiefs get more calls in the right situations or the most important times or not. This team is insufferable. Last year, a lot of people thought it was very evident that the NFL wanted the Chiefs in the Super Bowl so that they could continue the coverage of Taylor Swift. She brought in a lot of viewership. She brought in a lot of money to the NFL. Here we
Did
are
she?
again.
Was that like? Has that been reported that like?
Yeah. There was so much Swifties and young girls, and
But was that like? Has that been like the numbers? Have the numbers been reported?
I'm confirming the report right now.
Okay.
I don't know about any, quantifiable data that shows that, but I think from a general perspective of what I see online, I do think that is true. Um, the three-peats, I don't want to see a team that dominant. I didn't like seeing the Patriots when they were that dominant, and they weren't even this dominant.
Yeah, the Pats only repeated once. People forget.
My biggest thing is I miss the variety. That's my biggest thing. Like, this is what, the seventh year. You can go all the way back to when the Colts and the Saints played in the Super Bowl, 2009, or 2010, whatever. 15 years ago, there have only been like two, maybe three or four Super Bowls that have not involved a Manning, a Brady, or a Mahomes. You throw in like Roethlisberger in there once, and then Joe Burrow obviously in there once. Who else?
Russell
I know
Wilson twice.
he was on the NFC. I'm saying like AFC wise,
Oh.
been those guys. A combination of them somewhere. Yeah, I mean, even if you take the NFC side, when Brady was in there, but Brady was in there against Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, my favorite Super Bowl over the last decade was the Rams and Bengals. That was so unexpected and so fun.
I won money on that game, I think. But I didn't want the Rams to win because of the,
That was yeah.
just,
Actually, I feel
yeah,
you.
because I'm a hater.
I still hold that grudge.
No, not anymore, because the team
Would.
is so different, and the Rams did in fact end up winning, and I it was cool for it was cool for Stafford to win one, I guess, and seeing
You
Aaron
ever,
Donald win one, and
if you ever happen to run into Nikhil Roby-Coleman, what are you doing? Dropping his ass?
no,
I would do
no,
it.
Bill Vinovich, different story, but Nicole Roby Coleman, like, I think he
You'll win
knows that
too,
he
huh?
fucking made the foul, but
All
he
right,
got
fair
away
enough.
with it. But Bill Vinovich, you're gonna get a fucking knee to the ribs, buddy. Um, and you're old as shit, so those ribs are definitely fucking like fragile, just waiting.
I think from what I'm seeing though, Colin, I think this is gonna be numbers probably are gonna be great for the Super Bowl because it's a Super Bowl. But I think this is gonna be one of the Super Bowls at least the general audience is least interested in. And I think
You're
that's
probably right.
and I mean I think people are just kind of getting tired of it too. And then now you have the narrative that's everybody was already talking about the Chiefs getting the calls, right? But now you have I don't know if you've seen clips about the reporters that are kind of I think it's the same guy that's asking Holmes and Kelsey about it. Goodell was asked about it, and
Oh yeah, yeah,
um,
the guy who's being a dickhead.
it's not something that they can really hide anymore. If this game has any, I mean, we went into the AFC Championship game already. People were pissed, and there was if this game has any questionable calls, people are gonna be pissed. And sure as shit, the game ended with a questionable call. If this game ends or has any questionable calls, it's gonna be a huge problem for the NFL. Mark my words.
I don't know, dude. like the NFL just is kind of impenetrable. Like it really is, in my opinion. It it just the shield just seems to take controversies and just reflect them, and then nothing kind of happens. We all just kind of forget, and then preseason or the draft comes up and we're kind of like, wait, football's coming back? Oh my god, football, I've
Yeah,
missed it so much. And like we just don't acknowledge the issues.
I see what you're saying. I see it.
Like I don't know, like if nothing changed, if nothing had like permanent change after the New Orleans one, the New Orleans Rams thing, like that was the thing where I was like,
But
okay, like
they flirted with the idea. It only lasted one season, but they made pass interference challengeable. I thought that was
would
fantastic. I loved that. It didn't last though.
I don't think it was fantastic the way they did it. I think the way, oh wow. Sorry, just got to report that Falcons are expected to cut Kirk.
Kirk, I saw that.
Oh shit.
I'm not
Sorry, Kirk.
surprised.
Wow.
They
That's
can't keep.
$100 million down the fucking drain. They guaranteed, what was it, 96? Anyway, that's a podcast for a different time.
Someone's gonna
Yeah, I don't know. I think the NFL is just the absolute master of keeping it rolling and just knowing how to like just be like, well, you're still gonna fucking watch, so sorry, you know.
Yeah, I know you're
Uh,
hoping
they're kind
for
of
this
like Amazon, you know. It's
Yeah,
like
too big to fail.
like
What do
I
you do about it?
I could like I don't like Amazon, but the thing is like at work they order everything on Amazon. And all offices order everything on Amazon unless they're fucking staples, you know? Anyway.
Yeah, it's too big to fail. I know you want the Chiefs to win. What are you expecting? How do you think the game is gonna go? What's your prediction?
Man, honestly, I think this game is going to come down to two things. If the Chiefs can run the ball and if Jalen Hurts is going to be average. Um, I think there's some sliding scale between the two of those things that will determine a Chiefs or Eagles win. I just think that Steve Spagnuolo, like Spags is gonna fucking sell out to stop Saquon Barkley. And I think we've seen the ability of the Chiefs to do so. I am mildly, if I'm an Eagles fan, I'm mildly concerned what's going on with my center rotation. Like, why are we kind of platooning this thing? Those guys don't seem healthy. If I'm the Chiefs, I'm worried in a somewhat similar manner about that interior pressure. Um, I think that Kelsey has an opportunity to have a good game, especially if Nakobe Dean does not, in fact, play. I didn't see if he's been ruled out yet. I don't know. I don't know. I think.
I don't see him as I don't see Nakobe Dean on the injury report at
Oh,
all.
okay. All right. So if
And all of their offensive linemen participated too. They had limited was Brandon Graham, Jalen Carter, Devontae Smith, and Kenny Gainwell. Other than that, everybody else was full.
all right,
Excuse me, full participants.
I do think that the Chiefs have a fucking coaching edge with Andy Reid, and it is very rare that you see Andy Reid getting out coached these days. Not saying it can't happen, but when it is perceived that Andy is going against a coach that is lesser than him in terms of coaching ability and game planning, I think he tears that up. If I'm the Eagles, I'm a little worried about defensive scheme. I like Vic Fangio, but I think some of the best offensive minds are able to pick right through his defenses. Yeah, I also just Eagles haven't really faced a good run defense this playoffs. Like straight up haven't. And I know the Rams were like a decent defense, but now you're gonna face a good run defense. Karlaftis Jones, we'll see what happens. But do you want a prediction?
Let me hear it.
I think the Chiefs win by 14 on a defensive touchdown. Yeah, that's my prediction.
14.
They get a late defensive touchdown. And yeah, they go up 2 scores, and that's that. And yeah, I am okay. Sorry, you first. I've been
No.
talking.
I was just gonna say the line's only at -1.5 Chiefs, so 14. That's quite a bit.
No, yeah, I know. We haven't really seen the Eagles successfully play from behind. And I know that's because they have just built up these leads and been able to kind of sit back. So I'm very interested to see what happens if they go down 2 scores, because I do think there's maybe a little blowout potential on the Chiefs side.
That would be my literal nightmare.
Yeah. Like I can see it now. Like Saquon gets stuffed like for the first, 7 runs. Jalen Hurts throws a really awful pick in Chiefs territory. I don't know. I just something potentially smells about this Eagles team. I think it might just be my anti-Eagles bias, but the more I look at it, the more I'm like, oh, like the Eagles could stop this, or oh, the Eagles could stop that. And again, that's why I think it really it ultimately comes down to Jalen Hurts. That's what I'll say. And if Jalen Hurts is not average to good, the Eagles, it will not look good. Yeah.
I'm with you. I think the Chiefs win. I don't think there's any way that they lose this game. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. I hope it's not a blowout. If it's a blowout, if it's not at least an entertaining Super Bowl, people are gonna be pissed.
I mean, I was the guy who found the Bucks Chiefs Super Bowl very entertaining, but that's because I thought Mahomes Mahomes played just about as hard and as well as someone could with their team completely fucking letting them down. That was my opinion on that game. So if it's like a Saquon game like that, then that'd be kind of cool. If they're down 21 and he just breaks like a 70-yard run, like, okay, like that'd be cool. Yeah, but I don't know.
It is pre-written, Colin. The Chiefs are not going to lose this game. They already got the permission from Pat Riley to use the term three-peat.
Why does Pat Riley have the rights to that?
I think he got it back in the day. So he trademarked it.
Wow. Good for him. I mean, I saw the headline, but I think I was working at the time and I was like kind of confused by it and then just kind of forgot about it. But that's so funny that he owns like the name, image, likeness for fucking three-peat.
Yeah. So he filed for that trademark.
I guess it's not NIL, but just
season.
In the what season?
After the 1989 season when the Lakers won back-to-back.
That's so funny. The Lakers have never three-peated. Or sorry, with him.
He was hoping it was going to happen. They won 2 in a row, so he filed it just in case they won back.
I don't think Pat Riley has ever three-peated. That's so funny. Because he didn't with the Heat, didn't win one with the Knicks. He won a bunch with the Lakers, but never three-peated. That's too funny, dude.
I'm gonna put a lot of money on it. Chiefs -1.5.
I think I'm also gonna ride that with you. Maybe try and catch Mahomes. I don't like prop bets that much these days, but maybe try and catch Mahomes MVP, or I don't know. Maybe there's potential for a Kelsey MVP, and then he fucking proposes to Taylor Swift after the game with
And then
Donald
retires.
Trump next to him and
No, not with
retires.
T Swift, dude. She wouldn't want Donald Trump up there.
You underestimate the power of the billionaires or the billionaires in general, my friend.
Dude, she's one of the good ones.
I've
She's
just
one of the good ones.
I've just decided that nobody's good, like, who's a billionaire. I don't think it's necessarily like possible to be an ethical billionaire. But that's just me.
Another topic for another day.
Yes. We got anything else on the Super Bowl?
I'm just praying that you're wrong, Colin. I don't want this to be a blowout. But we'll see.
Yeah, for entertainment's sake, I don't want it to be a blowout. Like, that's why I really enjoy, like, last year's Super Bowl. I thought was fantastic. Especially, you go into overtime, and then as the time is running out, like, the 49ers are like freaking out because, again, the time is running out and they don't realize that the rules are different in the playoffs and that there will be just a second overtime. Oh my God, that was just beautiful. See, that's the thing about Andy Reid. Like he had them boys ready. Yeah,
it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this game to get over with so we can move on to the draft.
I'm excited for this to end so we can move on to basketball. I'm so excited for fucking the basketball playoffs. It's going to be a really, really fun time.
See how it goes.
Real quick, any Luka Doncic thoughts?
Yeah, that was stupid. Very stupid.
I'm right there with you, bud.
Just complete malpractice by the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, Nico Harrison, my brother in Christ. What are we doing?
I saw a tweet that said Rob Pelinka was grooming him.
I also saw that.
And then Danny Ainge not knowing.
That's beautiful.
In the
that's
trade,
beautiful.
But not knowing what the trade was.
Yeah, I really like that
Danny
one.
Ainge, right?
Huh?
That's how you say it, right? Danny Ainge.
Danny Ainge, yeah.
Horrible.
Noted Celtics hater. Sorry, Lakers hater. Jesus.
Garbage. Is he?
Oh yeah, because he played for the Celtics, and yeah, just got wrapped up in that whole thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, so he was fucking punching the air. He was punching the air when when he found out that it was the Lakers.
Jeez.
Yeah.
How do you do that? Who knows?
Well, how it went down was he probably got a call from like Nico Harrison, who's like, "Hey man, if I get you 2 picks, can you send me a check for $55,000 yeah, you get Jalen Hood Shafino, I think his name is.
Right now?
I don't